Ever stare at a paper check and think, there's gotta be an easier way than a bank run? You're not alone. We live in a digital age where instant transactions and app-based finance rule. And naturally, you might wonder if Venmo, that app we use for splitting pizza and rent, can handle those old-school paper checks. But here's the kicker, it's not a simple yes or no. The answer, like most things in the world of fintech, comes with a few twists and turns. So, let's dive into the fascinating, and sometimes frustrating, reality of cashing checks with Venmo. Think about it. We're all about convenience, right? We want to skip lines, avoid fees, and get our money faster. Venmo, with its slick interface and easy peer-to-peer transfers, seems like the perfect candidate. But here's where things get interesting. Venmo itself doesn't directly cash checks. It's not a bank, after all. It's a payment platform. However, the story doesn't end there. There's a workaround, a way to bridge the gap between paper and digital, and it involves a partner. That partner is PayPal. Yes, PayPal. And if you're thinking, wait, those are separate companies, you're partially right. They operate independently but are part of the same financial ecosystem. And within PayPal's app, there's a feature that lets you cash checks. It's called check capture. Now, here's where the Venmo connection comes in. You can transfer money from your PayPal balance to your Venmo balance. So, indirectly, through PayPal, you can get access to those check funds and then funnel them into your Venmo for spending or transferring. But, and this is a big but, let's break down the limitations. First, you need a PayPal account. That's step one. If you don't have one, you'll need to create one and link it to your bank account. Then, you need to find the check capture feature within the PayPal app. It's usually found within the Finance or More section. Once you find it, you'll be prompted to take photos of the front and back of your check. Make sure the pictures are clear and the check is properly endorsed. Now, let's talk about the real meat of the matter. How much can you actually cash? This is where it gets a little more nuanced. PayPal, and therefore indirectly, Venmo's access to check cashing, has limits. These limits can vary based on several factors, including your account history, your verification status, and the type of check. Generally, you're looking at daily and monthly limits. These limits are designed to prevent fraud and manage risk. So, you might see a daily limit of, say, $5,000 and a monthly limit of $15,000, but these are just examples. Your personal limits might be higher or lower. And here's another crucial point, fees. Cashing checks through PayPal's check capture isn't free. There are fees associated with the service, and these fees can vary depending on how quickly you want access to your funds. If you want instant access, you'll likely pay a higher fee. If you're willing to wait a few days, the fee might be lower or even waived. These fees are usually a percentage of the check amount, so a larger check means a larger fee. It's essential to understand these fees before you proceed, because they can eat into your funds. Let's get into the specifics of the process. You'll need to endorse the back of your check with your signature and, if required, for mobile deposit only. This endorsement is crucial for the check to be processed correctly. Then, you'll use your phone's camera to take clear, well-lit photos of the front and back of the check. The app will guide you through this process, ensuring you capture all the necessary information. Once the check is submitted, PayPal will review it. This review process can take some time, especially for larger checks. They're looking for things like authenticity, proper endorsement, and sufficient funds in the payer's account. And speaking of authenticity, PayPal has strict security measures in place to prevent fraud. They use advanced image analysis and verification tools to detect counterfeit checks. If they suspect a check is fraudulent, they'll reject it. And if you repeatedly submit fraudulent checks, your account could be suspended. So, it's vital to only submit legitimate checks. Now, let's talk about the timing. How long does it take to get your money? This depends on the processing speed you choose. If you opt for instant access, you might see the funds in your PayPal account within minutes. However, this comes with a higher fee. If you choose the standard processing speed, it could take a few business days. Weekends and holidays can also delay the process. Once the funds are in your PayPal account, you can then transfer them to your Venmo account. This transfer is usually instant, but it can sometimes take a few minutes. And here's a word of caution: not all checks are eligible for mobile deposit. Some checks, such as those with unusual formats, those from foreign banks, or those with certain security features, might be rejected. It's always best to check with PayPal's guidelines to see if your check is eligible. Also, keep in mind that the check must be made payable to you. You can't cash a check made out to someone else. So, to recap, Venmo doesn't directly cash checks. But through PayPal's check capture, you can deposit checks and then transfer the funds to your Venmo account. There are limits, fees, and processing times to consider. It's not a perfect solution, but it can be a convenient option for those who need to access check funds quickly and don't want to go to a physical bank. It's also important to remember that this process is subject to change. Financial technology is always evolving, and features and limitations can be updated or modified. And let's not forget the alternatives. There are other mobile check cashing services available, such as those offered by banks and credit unions. Some even offer check cashing through dedicated apps. It's always a good idea to compare different options to see which one best suits your needs. Consider factors such as fees, limits, processing times, and customer service. You might find that a traditional bank account or a dedicated check cashing application is more suited to your specific needs. Ultimately, while Venmo adds to the flexibility of receiving funds, it's reliant on the systems and policies of PayPal when it comes to checks. The limits and fees are not Venmo's decisions. Understanding the nuances of these systems is crucial to avoid frustration or unexpected costs. Stay informed, read the fine print, and always consider your options before committing to a financial transaction. So, the next time you're faced with a paper check, remember that Venmo, through PayPal, can be an option, but it's not the only option. Do your research, weigh the pros and cons, and choose the method that best fits your financial situation. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.